Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So we've got a subject here. I see very little on this, but this is cool, fun, and creative. Let's step over to our punch table, see what we're talking about. Letter stamps are a great way to personalize a project, but the problem for me, the majority of the type styles out there are very basic. There's one, maybe two out there that I like that have some decoration, but the majority very plain. Let's see if we can blow that up. Now, with a letter stamp, if you're new to leathercraft, let's go here first, because letter stamps have ruined more projects than anything else. Getting a letter upside down, doesn't matter how much work we've put into that project, it's a goner. So, the camera is not going to pick this up, but right at the bottom of our letter stamp, there's a designator. As long as we can see that, our stamp is right side up. Now, with letter stamps, we're typically going to go, say, with a name or some initials, 3 initials or 2. But let's do this. Let's just go with 1, because all we're doing here is getting an idea of the possibilities. Take a letter stamp and any tool you have in your shop and see what happens. All right, but let's start easy, because here's what we're talking about. So we're going to embellish a letter stamp. Well, we can do this vertically or horizontal. Say we've got a biker wallet and we want to work that out left to right, or say a cell case, top to bottom. We can absolutely do it. But let's start right here with a simple pair of our floral stamps. Let's just go left and right on our E. Okay, well, that's not bad. Starting to dress that up a little bit. Let's go top and bottom. Okay, getting there. That looks a little bit better. All right, let's try this. In fact, this is one of my all-time favorite stamps. Now, what we're doing here, well, we've got a little decoration, but I'm trying to work stamps in that have similar lines. Our letter stamps, they have a little bit of a heavier line. So let's look for stamps that have a little bit of a heavier line. This is our Royal Serpentine, one of my favorite tools. But let's just drop this on the top and on the bottom. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Starting to dress that up. How about we go left and right? Yeah, there we go. Starting to expand that letter. Starting to work towards filling out a space. Now, one point I didn't mention is my leather is cased. We've got a good video on that, but notice how easy my stamps sink in. Now, one more point. We could always go with a simple camo. That's going to dress up a letter. But let's start adding more stamps into this. So let's reset, see what we've got next. Let's go back to our Serpentine Royal. Let's drop this on all 4 sides. Well, I do like the look of that. Very symmetrical, okay? Let's jump over to a fluted camouflage tool and let's just hit our corners. Yeah, there we go. Starting to look good. I like this border, this consistent border around this. All right, let's do the same thing with a meander stamp, all 4 sides. Okay, well, that looks good thus far. Let's jump over to a figure carving tool. Let's just hit each of our corners. Well, I like that. That gives us a little bit of a southwestern feel. Very nice. Let's reset, see where we're going next. As our designs start to get more and more complicated, it's a good idea to make a template. I'm using our pattern sheeting here, but notice I can just drop in small marks where my tools need to land. So on this, let's start to dress this up another one of my favorite tools. This has got a bit of a Celtic feel to it. So right here on this E, let's again go all four sides. And you can see, if we need to, we can absolutely fill out a space simply with a letter stamp. Now on this, our lines, they're not necessarily starting to match up, but I do have a good burnished area, so that's going to help. Next up, let's jump back to our fluted camo. Now with this, we can go with just about any camo in our shop, but let's drop this on all four corners, and I'm going to set it out just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. We get a good design on that. Okay, starting to like the look of that, but we need one more thing. How about we drop in a cedar on the point of each of our geometric? Okay, well that's starting to look pretty good. Oddly enough, I feel like that's almost got a circus feel to it, okay? How about we jump over to, again, one of my favorite, and I keep saying that, but these really are. This is, I think, my all-time favorite geometric tool, but let's drop this in all four corners. Okay, we've got a star on each side. Let's come over with a larger camo, and let's drop this in between our geometric. Well, I like the design, the shape of the design that's starting to emerge inside that. Well, seems a little naked right there. Okay, let's come back in with our cedar and drop that in each of our geometric. There we go, that's starting to look good. We can even embellish inside that. I like that design. Okay, let's again reset, see what we've got next. Let's get creative with these. Now, I'm on camera, my stamps are not lining up as nicely as I would like, but when we're alone in our shop, taking our time, paying attention, these are going to be beautiful. But also, as we get more complicated, we can always create a pattern. So let's start with a shell. This is a great tool to work in. So let's go with our E. We're going to go right on the top and the bottom. Okay, starting to like the look of that already. Let's go with a smaller veiner tool, and I'm going to work this in right on the inside of our shell. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's top that off. Let's add one tool. How about a figure carving, top and bottom, to make this very symmetrical. Now this tool is a little harder to line up, and I want to bring that in relatively close to my shell. Okay, good, good. Again, heavier lines. I like that. That's one of the things that for me really will bring a stamp design together. There we go. I like the shape of that. And we could actually go both sides as well. Fill out a space with that. That looks good. One more. Both of these are both very similar, but we're going to jump over to an O now. So we've got letters like L's or Y's that are going to have a little bit different shape. Just pick up some tools and see what happens. But let's see if we can transfer something like this over to this. Okay, we've got that. Let's come in with an axe head. I'm going to drop this in. In fact, there we go. I'm going to drop this in where this outside curve is just in my shell, and this inside curve is right on my O. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, okay, right. That could have been lined up a little bit better, but again, let's jump back over here and just top that off. Well, actually, I like both designs. But the point here, if we've got an odd-shaped letter, just pick up some tools, see what happens. All right, one more set. Let's get a little more complicated. For this one, we're going to need a template just to make sure everything lines up. But these are easy to make. I've simply created a square box, 1 inch square or 2.54 centimeters, and I'm going to work out from there. I'm just making marks where I want my stamps to land. We're going to make very light marks and then overstamp those. The great thing about the pattern sheeting, and I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but if I've got cross lines on this, I can tell exactly where that letter is. So let's center that on our letter. Good, and now let's lightly mark our outside holes, or our marked holes. And there we go. Okay, again, I don't think the camera's going to pick that up. And I'm using up some scrap here, so the leather is not perfect. But let's go back to our small veiner. What I'm going to do is connect these 3 points. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let's lay our veiner in point to point there. And let's do that on the other side. We're going to get those... There we go. We're going to get those veiners to overlap. Okay, well that looks pretty good thus far. Let's go back to our larger camouflage tool and drop this in on the 4 corners. Okay, again, I like the inside design that's emerging there. Let's jump back over to our figure carving, and I'm going to drop this in on each point. And so many ways we can go. We could just keep going, dropping in veiners or cedars, unlimited possibilities. One more, because this is a great stamp for a loved one, a spouse, absolutely. Let's say with a heart, how about we just go on our corners? Okay, that looks pretty good thus far. I like the hearts. And let's come back to our camo, and let's just center that between the 2 on all 4 sides. Well, that's just a simple little design. We can absolutely see the hearts, but very symmetrical, and that is cool. Again, there are so many ways we could go. We could pick up just about any stamp and enhance our letter stamps. And that's exactly right. Just pick up a tool and see what happens. The journey is just as much fun as the destination. Well, I hope you find a design here that you like. But my bigger hope is that you see a design here that leads you in a whole new direction and you make it your own. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.